Wrestling with Wrestling Past and Present presents Wrasslin Roulette. This is Wrestling with Wrestling Past and Present. I'm Tim Kirk.
I'm Roland Pulis.
And I'm Mongo.
And today it is a very special episode. We're doing something a little different. It's called Wrasslin Roulette. Thanks to Roland for that name.
Ooh.
Thanks to you for the idea.
Yep. Yeah, it was a team effort on this one.
And then Mongo made the cool artwork in the wheel. So
yes.
Here we are.
Here we are. So we got this big fancy wheel that Mongo put together for us with about 30 wrestlers and a couple choices slots on there. And we're going to spin the wheel. And whoever lands on, we're going to, kind of go through a little review last year for them. And we're going to give you our predictions for this year. This is New Year's Day, so Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and spending a little bit of holiday with us. But yeah, we're going to each do 5 rounds, all 3 of us. And we're really excited to get this episode started for you guys.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We're going to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, what they did in 2021, kind of coming to the end of the year, and then what we think they're going to do next year. And then, like we said, we'll play it back at some point and see how wrong or right we were. It should be interesting to hear down the road. It's like our own little time capsule.
Oh, very well said. For those watching us on YouTube, this is exciting too. You can, visually see the reaction when Roland gets Danhausen and has to pass it to me. No, just kidding. But I think it's fun. Like I said, it was a great idea by you guys. I know we had spitball different ideas on what to do for New Year because, we want to keep it fresh and entertaining. And we want to make sure it's something fun for us too. And this is a really cool concept. I'm excited to spin the wheel, and I think we should let Tim go first since it was his idea, and I'll spin it for you. Just let me know when you're ready. We'll spin, and we'll put Tim on the hot seat.
Let's do it.
All right, so Tim, your first spin.
Let's spin the wheel. It's like the price is right over here.
$1, Bob. $1. Oh, what a great way to start the show.
Tony
Maybe.
Storm.
Oh, no.
Maybe.
Maybe. Is that Anna J?
Anna J at the last minute.
Yeah.
Anna J. It was on Tony Storm, but the needle moved at the last minute.
It just moved. Oh, now it's back to... Oh, okay.
Well, because Anna J disappeared.
Anna J just disappeared. Okay.
Yes, the winning so Anna J is the first one.
Huh. All right. Well, full disclosure, I haven't watched a whole lot of AEW lately, so I don't. I'm not too familiar with what Anna J is doing right now. But I think she'd be a good contender for 2022 for that new TBS title that they're debuting, or the Ho title, as it looks like. So yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think she'll be in line for a title shot at that. I don't think she's quite the level of Britt Baker and AEW Women's Champion yet, but I can kind of see her in that mid card women's spot on TBS. So that's kind of my prediction for her in 2022.
It's a solid prediction.
And to make you feel better, unfortunately, she came back from an injury, so a lot of her 2021 she was rehabbing. So, but I agree with you, Tim. So
hey, to be fair, she is dating Jack Perry, so.
That is true.
I know everybody gets butthurt when JR calls him Jungle Jack Perry, so not going to call him Jungle Boy.
Oh, speaking of JR, congratulations to him. He is cancer-free, made his return on Dynamite this past week, so, good going, JR.
Way to battle.
Absolutely.
Boomer sooner.
All right, Roland, we're stepping up to the plate. Roland's going to give it a big old spin.
No whammies. Big money.
Wheel him in.
Spin the wheel, make the deal.
Thankfully, it's nowhere near Danhausen.
Oh, it might be on Kenny. It's on Kenny Omega.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'll take Kenny all day long.
The cleanup.
So, as a lot of people know, Kenny Omega, really 2021 was the year of Kenny Omega. He won pretty much every title besides the WWE title. Unbeknownst to JR, he didn't win the WWE title. He said on one of the shows once. But I think that he's taking this time to heal up. We know he had some nagging injuries, and I think you're going to see him soon. And they're almost setting up for a feud between the former Undisputed Era and the Young Bucks and Kenny when Kenny comes back. So I think any series of those 6 guys are going to just be bangers. I think that Kenny for the moment is going to be out of the title picture for a little while because he doesn't need to be in it. He's not Cody. He's not the 3-time EVP champion. Oh, sorry, TNT champion. He doesn't need that belt for his ego or anything. He can do it without it. And that's the one thing that bugs me the most about Cody. And I know it's not just him, but like, you need to book yourself. You don't need to be the first 3-time anything. You're an EVP. You don't need that. And Kenny I don't see Kenny trying to be the first 2-time AEW champion. So I think that for the better part of the first half of this year, I would assume we're going to probably see him come back somewhat soon. Probably, I would say February, March-ish. They'll probably let it burn for a little while, let the tease the dissension between the Bucks and Adam Cole and O'Reilly and Fish. And then you also have to wonder, when Kenny does come back, what you would think he would take the Young Bucks side. I mean, it almost writes itself. It would be 3-on-3. But I think that he comes back, he helps the Young Bucks. They have these series of different matches, whether they're singles, trios, tags. I think they could spend their whole summer, these 3 guys on each side, these 6 competitors could have bangers for like 3-4 months this summer if they do it right.
Oh, very good. I would agree with those. And just to add in one little wrinkle, I did kind of see a Adam Cole and Kenny Omega feud brewing back from when they had their little ROH fallout when he kicked them out of the Bullet Club and everything. So yeah, it's definitely a good point. And
and when Kenny left, he mentioned about the Bucks holding the place down, and Cole said something, and he's like, "I wasn't talking to you." He pretty much said, "I wasn't talking to you." So like, there's definitely dissension there, and I think Kenny's going to come back and more or less be like, "I told you, you can't trust this guy. You just can't." And it's going to be good, I think.
I agree. One quick point that I was just thinking of is, you said he doesn't want to be the second AEW champion, which is fair, but what if he's the first Grand Slam AEW champion, goes for that TNT belt at some point?
If he beats Cody, I'm fine with
it. All right, let me go here, not triple. I spin the giant wheel.
There we go.
It'd be like Jack and Jill, hit yourself on the head with it.
No whammy, no whammy. Oh. Maybe we got a redemption on Tony Storm here. Oh, or is it on Thunder Rosa?
It is. Thunder
Rosa. Wow, I mean, I'm kind of glad just a Grand Slam match that they had back on St. Patrick's Day with Britt Baker, the lights out match, I think really showcased how she could, step in the ring with anyone. And it helped elevate Britt because it got Britt more over than I think she was. And I think that's what Thunder Rosa is she's going to elevate while elevating herself. So I think there was a smart decision to take her out of the TBS title picture, because I see her starting a feud with Britt Baker because, they already showed they had that big blow off, but it didn't count for anything. So they can use that and build up to a title match. And I think the right person to take it off would be Thunder Rosa, because right now she's so over and she can go. So, and she's been wrestling on Impact. She wrestled at NWA. So she had a really good year. She probably had one of the best years besides Britt Baker and Charlotte. She probably had one of the best years in wrestling for a female wrestler. So I'm excited to see what her future holds.
And you have to wonder with the re-debut this past Wednesday, what role that plays too of Mercedes Martinez.
And I'm excited for that. I remember seeing her at All In when she was the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal and being super excited. And then they're like, "Oh, she's signed with NXT," and I was like, "Oh, damn it!
You made the wrong choice." You had that awkward phone call with Tony, like, "Hey, Tony, I'm sorry. Can I come home?" It's like when you go out on your own for the first time and fail. "Mom, can I come home?"
It's like The Hangover when at the beginning of the first Hangover with Bradley Cooper. "Hey, we fucked up."
Fun fact, that's another movie I haven't seen.
I was going to say, Tim, the Hangover was a movie, a series of movies. I think they made 3. Had Zach Galifianakis, Bradley Cooper, Ken Jeong.
At this point, I almost feel like it's shorter than a list of movies Tim has seen than not seen.
Probably.
We did find out he has seen the one with Tim Allen there, the Santa Claus. So he has seen that one. So
I've seen all 3 of those.
And he's seen the National Lampoons, and he's not a fan of it. Which you can tweet your hate tweets at TK on air.
Speaking of on it, let's. I think Tim's going to go up to the wheel here. Ready for your
spin? Yeah, let's do it.
I definitely like this program where it like teases you where you think you're gonna get one, then it starts jolting towards the other one. Oh, I'm gonna laugh. Oh, you might get lucky with
Darby. Over to Darby. Nope.
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. So obviously we know she's with Matt Cardona and everything. So Matt Cardona had a breakout year last year with the GCW title, the Deathmatch King kind of thing. Kind of really stuck it to WWE. I think Chelsea Green is kind of in line to do that this year too. I mean, I think she's going to make a debut somewhere, whether it be Impact or AEW. I think she could be a breakout star next year. I don't know if she's going to be a title-worthy contender for 2022, but I think she's, wherever she goes, she'll be a pretty big player.
So you're saying that she won't be misused like the WWE misused her?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Okay. I don't think she'll be misused, and I think she'll get the rights to her name this time. So yeah, I think she's got the potential to be good. I think she'll kind of piggytail off of Cardona's momentum from this year and continue on in 2022.
Well, and they're getting married, so.
Yeah, technically, it's if you listen to this recording on Saturday, they got married yesterday. So,
yeah.
So just to kind of throw in a little bit, Chelsea Green, yeah, she was on Impact pretty recently. So, her and Matt haven't signed contracts anywhere. So one of the cool things they're doing is they're just kind of freelancing. As we know, Matt Cardona showed up in AEW last year. Chelsea Green and Matt have wrestled tag team match in Impact. So Tim, I think those are very valid points. I think she's going to try to go on that multiple company because she has showed up at GCW to try to screw over some people before. So I think you hit the nail on the head. They're going to be like the deathmatch couple, like almost like the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth of the Deathmatch world to be kind of troll the fans. So good job, Tim. For someone who doesn't watch a lot of Chelsea Green matches, you did a good job.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if anyone gets Danhausen.
While the wheel is spinning, we failed to mention, and my bad, we want to thank you guys. You guys helped us put the wheel together. So with your vote, so thank you for everybody that voted.
Oh, dude, come on.
Oh, let's creep it over to Mongo's Choice.
Mongo's Choice.
Mongo, if you give me Danhausen, I'm leaving this show right now.
I will.
You want me gone?
I would. I'm gonna give you someone. I'm gonna give you someone that I know you can hit the nail on the head and that you have a lot of good points on. I'm gonna give you the layup. I'm gonna give you MJF.
All right, that's a good one. I think that MJF and CM Punk will start the new year with their feud. Continuing the feud really will start the new year. I don't know if they do it right. It should go till maybe the April. They have a pay-per-view in April somewhere in there. Is it before Mania?
Well, Double or Nothing's in May. Usually.
All right, so if it were me, I would try to stretch that out to Double or Nothing. That's me. I don't know if they're going to do it before then or not, but there's many ways to do it. I mean, we found out last week when they had Sting and Darby and CM Punk team to face MJF and FTR. So there's definitely many ways to do it. They could kind of do a similar thing to like Jericho having to go through all these people to get to him. I know that's a storyline that's played out, but I mean, they are playing that chicken shit heel that MJF does so well. So it wouldn't surprise me if it finally comes to Punk saying, what do I have to do to finally beat your ass in the ring? And he says, this is what you have to do. And it turns into the Cody thing where he has to do all this stuff, or it turns into the Jericho thing. They seem to do that once a year. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did it. And if it's done right, it's good. Now, for my liking, if they were to do it right, it would just be essentially one Pinnacle member, every other week or something, in some sort of different match. You don't need to bring people in. I mean, you already have, Colt Cabana and other people at AEW that have been in this history. There's no sense in bringing anybody in. But, I mean, I guess you could if you find somebody. But, I mean, Kevin Owens isn't coming anytime soon. It doesn't seem like Sami Zayn's coming anytime soon. So I don't know who else you would, bring in. But you could also there's so many people that he's crossed paths with. I mean, the Eddie Kingston thing, I mean, that was good. I wish they had let that go longer. So I think that Punk spends the first part of the year chasing MJF kind of, and then it builds to a match. And I think MJF does his wrestle once a month kind of thing, like he's been doing, kind of, squash matches and saying how good he is, or saying like in that tag match where Punk chased him around and stuff. And he's like, oh, did you see that Punk was running? Like he was running from me. So I think they keep doing that for a little while. I hope they do it right and let it burn slow. Like let this build, let it burn slow, and have a fan, whether it's some sort of match. I don't know what the match would be. Obviously, it's not going to be an exploding barbed wire death match. We're not doing that again. But I don't know what the match would be. But there's so many options there, and I think that's how MJF spends the first part of the year, and then I could see him maybe transitioning to maybe the TNT championship towards the later half of the year, depending on who has it.
No, I would agree. Very well said. Just throw a little wrinkle in there. I know Tim has said it before, and I know you've said it before. Recently in Dynamite, they're really still teasing the dissension of Wardlow. Do you think Wardlow somehow gets involved this little, not like a triangle so much, but do you think he kind of throws a wrinkle into the Punk storyline to help it slow burn?
I mean, I think that at a certain point that's going to happen. Now, is it what happens at the match? Is that how the match gets paid off? That Punk ends up winning because Wardlow turns on him? Maybe. I don't know. And then maybe they have a feud in between. But I think sooner rather than later, you have to get MJF into at least some title contention. And I don't think you can shoot him to the world title quite yet. He needs to prove. And that's the one thing that upsets me about Cody taking the belt off Sammy, is that you didn't even let Sammy prove that he could carry the title like that. You know what? If you wanted Cody to win it the third time, have him beat Miro. Like, no, he slayed Miro. Yay. Like, that's my one real gripe with that, other than the fact that Cody's ego, is as big as a fucking small car. And and I know a lot of people try to like defend him and stuff and all this stuff. He is a nice guy. I'm not saying he's not, but at a certain point, you have to fish or cut bait. Like there's no in between. And he's playing that John Cena line of like that shirt he has now. And I know we're not talking, I kind of jumped, but like MJF knows what he is and he's good at it. But like I said, sooner or later, you need to do something of value with him or he's going to lose steam.
No, it's very well said. Surprisingly, the people we did put on there, real quick to kind of segue into it, Cody didn't get a lot of votes. Miro, I didn't add because right now the big rumor is he's dealing with injury. So I didn't put him as a choice in our fan voting just because I don't know when he's going to come back because it's an undisclosed injury. So it's kind of hard to predict how they're going to fit him back in, kind of like Kip Sabian.
And will he bring Lana with him when he comes back? That's the next question too.
So the top two vote getters from each one, because obviously I don't want to go over too many, but male was Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega were 1 and 2. And female, this is going to really surprise probably Roland, Anna Jay was number 2 behind Britt Baker.
Wow.
So
yeah, no, I would not have guessed Anna Jay too. Sorry to cut you off. I wouldn't. I mean, she's popular. Don't get me wrong, but I would not have guessed her too.
Yeah, she got 12 votes. So out of the total 20 we ended up getting. So we want to thank everyone for, like Tim said earlier, for helping participate. I was really surprised. That's why I'm glad we have a good mix of the boards. So I can go up a spin and now I know I can't get Danhausen because it's on him. Which, fun fact, I said off air, but if you're watching this YouTube, he's wearing a Sasha Banks cosplay. Sasha Banks got 3 total votes out of 20. So it tells us what you guys want to see.
Full disclosure, I didn't vote for her.
And the wheel is.
I think Tim voted for Jerry Lawler before he voted for her.
I did.
I told Emily, like, that's totally Tim. Oh, come on, Statlander. Nice.
Is it?
Chris,
well, that's
Statlander.
Close. That is Statlander. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I actually saw it say Statlander.
She's actually, I think. So I think she's had a decent year. She came back from injury earlier in the year. In the cool, like I think it was like the Arcade Mayhem match where she popped out of the claw machine. That was so she's kind of had to build back up her momentum because unfortunately her ACL injury in 2020 derailed her momentum. How earlier I said Thunder Rosa was going to contend with Britt Baker. I think it's setting up so eventually maybe she can feud with Statlander, because I think one of them has to go heel. I think eventually Thunder Rosa will go heel, and I think it'll be Statlander. So I think that'll be kind of like the slow burn. But I think for now they're going to kind of keep just building her up and going through the women's division. She got pretty far in the TBS title, but she didn't win it. But it's showing they still have trust in her. So she had a really good 2021. She had a lot of, some squash matches on Dark, and then she had a couple tag team matches. She had a cool match on the cruise with Abaddon, where she seemed really over. So I hope she does go far. And I don't know if you guys have anything to add on it, but I mean, she blew my expectations away. Sorry.
No, I think that I think that she's done a very good job since she's come back. She's had very solid matches. It doesn't look like she came back rusty at all. And yeah, she's definitely in that top level. Is she a Britt Baker? Not quite, but she's definitely one of the people that could, like Tim said, could fill that TBS title and carry it
like a
for
tier
a while.
2,
yeah, if they needed to. And that's the tough thing right now with the AEW is that all these women, Britt Baker is so up there that no matter who she faces, there needs to be a story or it's just not believable, because Britt Baker is on like a rocket strapped to the moon
level
at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if we spin and Tim gets Britt Baker.
Probably.
I like it. That's what I'm saying. We got a good mix here. It's kind of funny. I got two probably my favorite female AEW superstars. So, ooh, is it really going to go to Toni Storm after all this time? It is going to Toni Storm.
Toni Storm. Yeah. So, she kind of ended.
Was made.
Yeah, the beginning of this when it was made, she still had a job.
Yeah. So she just ended 2021 on kind of a controversial note, being released from her contract with WWE. There was reports that she was, released, and then there's reports that she quit. So she didn't really end 2021 on a good note, but I think she'll bounce back. I mean, AEW has a tendency to sign all these released WWE superstars. I don't know if she'll go. I could see her going to Impact too, because AEW does have an overflow of talent right now, and they just don't have the TV time. I mean, they have a lot of their YouTube shows and stuff like that, but they don't have the time for all these talent. So, I mean, she may go to AEW, but my gut feeling is that she'll probably debut for Impact at some point. I'm not sure if she has a no compete or not. I'm assuming she probably does, probably a 90-day compete. So probably March, April, somewhere. I think she'll show up in Impact.
But how messed up is that? I think Roland and I were talking. I think maybe it was in a different chat. That basically she got pied in the face and just completely demoralized, and people are blaming her for leaving. And like you said, Tim, there's conflicting reports whether she was released or she packed up her bags and left. But how demoralizing as an employee of any company, you're treated like crap, and then you quit, you leave to better yourself, or you get fired. And it's like a blessing in disguise. People are like, oh, whatever, she sucks anyway. Like they defend the company. It blows my mind.
Well, that was the funny thing is when Mongo said something, and I literally replied back with like, "Well, the way they treated her, wouldn't you leave too?" Like, I mean, Tony time on SmackDown lasted what, a month? Like it wasn't very long, and then the pie in the face and good luck in your future endeavors, kid. It's pretty much how it went.
You ready for your spin?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Just want to note Danhausen's still on the board.
I would be fine with him staying on the board.
Oh, he got past him. Let's see. This is like at the fair when it was rigged and you wanted like an even number and it's clearly jumping to an odd.
Oh yeah, baby. Stop right there.
On this day.
Yeah. I'll take the Rated R Superstar. So we already kind of know where they're going with this. I feel like they're leading up to a match at WrestleMania with the Miz and Maurice against Beth Phoenix and Edge. I don't know exactly how they're going to get there because you still have the Rumble and you still have Day One, which is a horrible pay-per-view name, which we've discussed before. It's almost like Bruce Pritchard was like, "What do we name it, Vince?" And Vince is like, "God damn it, it's January 1st. I don't know, Day One." And that's just how it came out. I don't know, but it's almost as bad as Great Balls of Fire. But so I think that obviously it has to be paid off at WrestleMania. You're not going to you're not going to do enough storytelling in the meantime to get it to pay off at Rumble. I don't think. I think that would be a waste, especially if the rumors are true that the Rumble may end up moving back to the Performance Center. I know there's rumors going around about that right now. It's kind of up in the air. They might do the Thunderdome or whatever they decide to do. But I feel like it needs to be paid off at WrestleMania. And I think that, at the Rumble, if they have a match, it's going to be the two of them, or they have a spot in the Rumble together or something. And Maurice gets involved, and that, makes Beth Phoenix come. And then, I feel like it needs to be almost like a farewell for Beth, because she has left the commentary booth in NXT to spend more time at home. And I think, with the Women's Rumble coming, and because obviously I would think she's going to be at the Women's Rumble. So that could play out too, where she comes to the ring with Edge if they have a match. So they could go a lot of different ways, but I think Edge has a match, like I said, with his wife against Mike Mizanin and Maurice at WrestleMania. After that, I assume he takes some time off, because that's usually what he does after Mania. And then he probably comes back for SummerSlam, and we'll see who they decide to have him feud with then.
If they do that, Mike and Maurice should win, and then he should propose again to Maurice to troll John Cena, since that was the match that they lost that. Just to bring it back. I know they'll never have the balls to do it, but that'd be funny. All right, Tim, you ready?
That's your turn.
Don't you be skipping.
You're skipping. Yeah.
All right. I'll be tripping to the wheel, though.
Here we go for Mongo.
Here we go.
Oh, Danhausen. It's Danhausen.
Keep going, Wheel. Keep going. Keep going. Yes.
Very nice.
Full disclosure. Both Tim and I don't know. We know who he is, but we don't really know much about him. That's more Mongo's forte. And both Tim and I were like, if we get those choices, you know who you're getting.
Number 3 vote getter, by the way, for the males.
Oh, he's popular, and at one point he was supposed to be coming to AEW before he got hurt. So
he definitely had. Besides, like Tim said about Tony Storm, he ended 2021 on a sour note. He unfortunately broke his leg a few weeks ago in a freak accident in a match. So he is recovering from that. But Pro Wrestling Tees that came out today said he was the number 1 merch seller this year. That's not in AEW. So CM Punk was number 1 for total.
I did one of those like.
That's what I'm saying. So, well, no, because AEW has so much more volume. Pro Wrestling Tees, they separate the people who just have their own stores. Right. El Generico was number 2, so apparently Sammy was able to sneak some gear in there for a while. But he definitely had a good year. He wrestled a lot in Ring of Honor. He had a really good match against PCO, who Tim might know is he used to be part of the Quebecers. Back in the day. He was
Pierre.
Yeah, he's Pierre. Remember the guy? He has one eye.
He was the pirate.
Yeah, he still wrestles. He's like close to 60. And
I was going to say, yeah, he's pushing 60.
And he had a really good match with Ring of Honor. He had a couple other good feuds in Ring of Honor. He's a comedy wrestler. If you don't know Danhausen, watch him YouTube clips. He's hilarious. I think he should come to AEW. It is January. His contract with Ring of Honor is officially up since they've closed temporarily. He could do like the Britt Baker thing did when she was injured. He could just be on TV and be a presence. And someone like him should be signed just kind of like the Orange Cassidy routine, where you push him the right way. You get him the right level. You get him in those comedy matches. He doesn't need to be a world champion. He doesn't need to be TNT champion. He's just there to have fun with something, to elevate your other stars and basically put butts in seats, as Tony Schiavone famously said. So I hope in 2022, my prediction is he gets signed with AEW, and he kind of goes in and starts a little mini feud with Orange Cassidy, because they kind of teased some friendship and friendly razzing on the cruise. So it's like, I think they could work. And I know, Tim, you haven't watched much of AEW, but they definitely are starting to do the comedy a little bit better, where it's less goofy, but it still has a wrestling element to it. Sorry, that was a really long ramble.
All right, now it's my turn.
We're 9 guys in, and we're only a half hour in, roughly, so we're doing fine.
All right, and now to join Roland.
So it's the start of round 4. And who do we start off with?
Oh, I'm going to laugh. Please. I was hoping it was Cardona.
Oh, there it goes.
Since you're talking about
Spinner's choice.
Tim. Let's choose.
Oh. Well, I am going to go. Let me pick John Moxley here. So, first and foremost, we hope that John Moxley gets the help that he needs and still needs. We hope his rehab recovers. That's first and foremost. That's kind of life outside of wrestling is more important. So, but when he does come back, here I have a crazy kind of scenario in my head that I just thought of that I would like to see happen. I think, but it would have to happen later in the year because Punk has his feud with MJF, and if it does go to Double or Nothing, that takes almost half the year. But I think at some point, if Punk were to turn heel and John Moxley comes back, they could do a feud together and play off the whole straight edge thing and play off his real life rehab issues. And we all know that, wrestling has a history of playing off people's real life issues with alcohol. They did it with Scott Hall, and they've done it with Jeff Hardy multiple times. So, but I think AEW could probably do it in a way that's, I wouldn't say, I don't know if more classy is the word, but not as kind of degrading as WWE or WCW did it.
So less shitty.
Less shitty, yeah. So I think they could find a way to do it. So I would love to see a feud between Moxley and CM Punk later in the year, maybe towards like Full Gear or All Out or All In, whatever the later pay-per-view is, and just kind of play off the whole, CM Punk straight edge gimmick and John Moxley's, real life problem. So that's what I'm going to go with. I know it's kind of probably a real crazy scenario that probably won't happen, but that's kind of just me fantasy booking for his 2022.
Isn't it crazy to think that you can essentially get Dean Ambrose versus CM Punk, and it's a different company? Like 10 years ago, you never thought that could have happened because they didn't cross paths, and that's a really cool match. I'd like to see that feud because they're contrasting styles, and Punk can work physical, and I can see that being, a feud, even if it's like an Eddie Kingston type where it's only a month or so and they just beat the hell out of each other. That's a good one, man. I like that.
Well, and you got to remember when Ambrose debuted, they were the heavies in the Shield for Punk originally. Yep. So they have story besides the alcohol thing. So I mean, it could tell itself. The only thing I want to throw in there is that if Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, if Bryan Danielson beats Adam Cole, I could see John Moxley coming back and wanting to face him because he was the one that won the tournament and essentially took his spot when he went into rehab. So that's the only other thing I would add, that maybe that happens when he comes back, hypothetically. But yeah, no, I would love to see Moxley and Punk. That would be fantastic.
And with their penchant for not having a lot of rematches, we get to see some of these different types of matches. So, all right. So speaking of not rematches, we've lost some more people off the board. So now Roland gets a spin and some slim pickings left, but
there's a lot of good choices up there still, though.
Absolutely. And it's still a good mix with WWE and AEW, and that's what's good about this. You guys split it down the middle, so we were able to. Is he really going to be able to get a star?
You get all the good ones.
Le Champion, Ayatollah Rock and Roller, Y2J.
So we all know that Chris Jericho's wrestling career is winding down. He's in his mid-50s, early to mid-50s. He's done literally everything you can do. It would not surprise me if towards the end of this year we see a retirement match. I don't know who that person would be to have the retirement match. I don't know if it would be Sammy, if it'd be somebody that turns on him, something like that. A Hager, something. I mean, I think if they did Hager, it would be kind of like too much like Wardlow. But I feel like you need to end his career similar to Ric Flair's because his career deserves it. I think he needs to go out, have a hell of a match, and be sent on his way, whether it's back to commentary or just a manager or whatever. And I honestly think that this could be the last year we see Chris Jericho full-time. I mean, I know he's already somewhat semi-full-time to begin with, but I think that it's winding down. I just don't know. I mean, maybe you guys can help me, but I don't know who would be the person to have that match to maybe put him into retirement, but I could see them doing something.
AEW wise, I have to agree with you on Sam because that's typical mentor mentee. Chris Jericho was his mentor. He's the protege. It's it's a student, the master. Those are the words I was trying to look for. I just had to stumble over, but that's a good way, because that could be a way of like Sammy could, I don't want to have to do this, Jericho, but no, you have to retire if you lose, because you can't keep doing this. Like, make it like Sammy doesn't want to retire him to keep him as a white hot baby. And you can have Jericho just being the stun asshole, like, no, we need to do this, and it cost him his career. They could do it beautifully. And I know he said in the past in his books that he'd love for it to be Lance Storm. Well, they can still do that too, like outside of wrestling, like have one more match. But like you said, Roland, he deserves that opera style send off where you remember. I mean, we're always going to remember where we were when Shawn Michaels mouthed "I love you" and kicked Ric Flair's head off. So you always remember that moment.
And I wasn't on mute that time, so I mouthed the words for the people watching the video.
Now, the only other thing I could think of too, and I don't know if it would make for a great retirement match per se, and this is kind of me fantasy booking, but what if you have Jericho and Sting, and it could be a retirement match kind of for both of them?
I mean, they literally just teased them stepping in the same ring for the first time ever.
You could do that. I mean, it could be a retirement match. I don't know how you would end it if it was a retirement match for both. I don't know how you would book it. But I think they could. I don't know if you would do a draw.
It ends with both men getting counted to 10, and they both ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, you could do something like that. I think that would be awesome. Like, it would be fitting way.
And you have in that world, you still have Sammy on his side. You have Darby, and you can just see them afterwards, just like, oh my God, they're gone.
Yeah,
that would be good too.
I still can't believe in the 3 years they were together in WCW, they never crossed paths. That's just, it's like when you hear The Rock and Shawn Michaels, which we know the reasons, but it's crazy to think that some of these legends have been in the same building with the same talent, never had a match. And that's why I think
in the same ring on the same card, but never had a match together. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's always mind blowing. So I agree. See, Tim, I like your fantasy book tonight because you're throwing out those dream matches that we always look for.
he's tugging on the heartstrings.
I'm gonna tug on the wheel strings here. And
wait, you actually have a string you have to pull? You actually have a string you're pulling over there?
My mouse has a string. Oh, please. Yeah. Adam Cole, baby. Boom.
Don't you copy what I said, motherfucker.
So we all know that Adam Cole had an amazing 2021. He rode off into the sunset of NXT with having a great feud with Kyle O'Reilly, which it was great that AEW acknowledged it last night very subtly. So Tim, last Wednesday, Adam Cole was talking to Kyle O'Reilly in the back, and Kyle O'Reilly basically said to him, "We're going to go out there. We have a match tonight. We have our history. I know that Bobby's got my back, but I don't know if you do." And they kind of went out there with "I trust you, but I'm only trusting you for now." So it was nice that they acknowledged it without being like, "Hey, remember we hated each other, now we suddenly don't." Like, it's nice to insult your intelligence. I mean, obviously him showing up this summer it was expected, but we didn't expect it that quick. So I think that's great, and I think they've been using him well. Being the chicken shit heel with the Elite, but still he's still super over. I mean, you saw every single time he goes to the ring roll, what happens when he just goes like this, like the whole crowd chants.
They
Adam
out
Cole, it's over. Even at Comic-Con in Rhode Island, we were in line. He did it randomly at the table. People who I didn't think were wrestling fans did it with him. Like, it's just he's got that charisma. He's got the MJF charisma, So I think that's where they're going to go for 2022. I think that's the other feud after CM Punk is Adam Cole eventually gets to go after MJF. I think they have a feud just kind of show who the true heel of the company is, and I think MJF will go over. But I think that's kind of the long-term storytelling they do towards the end of next year. The middle of the year, I kind of agree with you, but I don't want it to completely go there. But I think eventually it's him and Kenny going at it.
Does he ever face Tony Schiavone?
No, I just think they keep teasing it because it's. I mean, even Tony Schiavone's
Britt Baker on a forklift.
Oh, speaking of that, to go off the topic real quick, you guys see Bischoff was on WWE Raw?
Yeah.
I see why he started trashing AEW randomly again. Got to get that WWE paycheck, huh?
I know Bruce is like, you want a paycheck? You're gonna have to do this for a week or two. Okay, I'm in.
Tim, you still got some good choices on this.
I know.
This is the fifth and final spin for him.
Fifth and final round. Let's see. A lot of good choices on the board here. What we got?
Come on, Roland's choice. Roland's choice. Roland's choice.
Stop.
Roland's choice.
Yeah. All right. Since Kevin Owens is not on the wheel, I can't give Tim a layup for Kevin Owens, but I can give him, I think, someone who he would enjoy talking about. Who's under my face? I see Tim's choice, and then who's between Tim's choice and Matt Cardona?
I cannot. Well, can I move
Bianca
your face?
Belair and Jeff Hardy.
All right, I don't want
Bianca
anyone.
Belair and Jeff Hardy.
Let's see. We're gonna go. I think we're gonna. It's between two people. I'm not gonna say them. It's between two people right now, and I'm going to give Tim Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. All right, that's a good one. So he could literally do anything in 2022. Obviously, he probably was the most shocking release of 2021. However, I think he will turn that release into a good thing because his character, as over as it was and how great of a character it was misused. Losing to Goldberg, losing to Roman, just
Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
That character should have been undefeated. And so, but he could go anywhere. I know he's taking some time off. He's filming a movie right now. What I've read is the signs are kind of him leaning towards Impact. But it makes sense for me to see him in AEW just because that is where he's going to get the most notoriety. But this is a tough one because I don't know what type of character he'll use. Will he play off the Fiend character? Will he go off the Swamp character of Bray Wyatt? Or will he do something completely different?
Is he in the House of Black?
Yeah, could him and Alex
is he the new leader of the Dark
Order? The Dark Order. He could literally do anything in 2022. Could he? I could see him maybe doing something with Matt Hardy again, if Matt Hardy goes back to being the broken gimmick.
And that's how Jeff Hardy can show up too.
Yeah,
there's so many. Yeah,
there's just so many options with him, so it's hard to predict per se what's going to happen. But I think, having said that, it's a testament to how talented Wyndham Rotunda is because he could do comedy. We saw that he could do serious. He could do cult stuff.
Scary.
He can do anything. So the fact that we don't know which way his character will go is just a testament to how well-rounded performer Wyndham is. So I don't really have a prediction because it could literally go. I think my prediction is it's going to be unpredictable what he does. I'll leave it at that.
I still like, we're gonna tell people 42-minute timestamp here. But a minute ago, Tim made the prediction very subtly, but I think it's a prediction of the year so far. He mentioned broken Matt Hardy gimmick in Wyndham, the leader of worlds at one point. If Jeff Hardy comes in there, they could do the broken. Tim, I think you're onto something with that. So don't say you don't have a prediction because I think you subtly threw that one out there.
What if they swerve that it's Jeff Hardy coming in and it's actually Wyndham?
Right?
Yeah, you could do something like that too. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to leave that one on the board. So, and I figured Tim's been really good with his off the ball, his out there things that actually make sense. So I wanted to hear what he had to say because he's definitely someone that needed to be talked about. So,
yeah, absolutely.
The other person was Darby, and I just don't feel like Tim follows AEW quite enough, especially recently.
I got some good takes on Darby too. But,
we might, depending on the time, maybe we'll do 6 spins.
Yeah, we never know.
We'll do more. Let's keep it going. We're still doing good on time.
Yeah. As long as you don't give me somebody I really like here and I keep talking.
So a lot of good choices on this. We got Malachi, Darby, Asuka, Ruby Soho.
Yeah, this is going to be my first kind of iffy one. Yeah. My first.
Asuka.
I can't really complain because I had 4 slam dunk.
Wait a minute, are you saying you're not ready for Asuka?
I don't think anybody's ready for Asuka because I think that I think that she needs a character change deeply. I think that when she comes back, she's not going to be this happy-go-lucky. They need her to be like an assassin, like someone that comes out, beats people in 2 minutes, and just leaves. Like, I mean, she needs to come back with a chip on her shoulder. Yeah, she needs to come back with a chip on her shoulder because she was so misused after Becky dropped the title to her. When she went on maternity leave, she was terribly misused. Some of the stuff they had her do, the tag team garbage. WWE right now, their women's division is outside of a few people is a joke. I mean, the fact that you still have Piper Niven trotting around his dewdrop after Eva Marie leaves is stupid. Just like the fact you have T-Bar and Mace still being T-Bar and Mace after Retribution's gone. Like, there's no reason to do it. Just as soon as they lost the mask, oh my God, that's Dominic Dijakovic. Holy shit. Instead of, no, that's T-Bar.
I like that Mercedes Martinez wore the mask like one time when this shit sucks. I'm going back to NXT.
She was like, this is fucking stupid. She probably called Tony then and said, hey, this is when my contract expires. But yeah, so I just think that to do it properly, she doesn't even need to show up yet. She needs to be attacking people out back. Like number one contenders, they like pan to the back and the person's just laid out. And she needs to come back as a villain and as a badass villain to be believable again, because when she first came up to the main roster, she had this undefeated streak, and now she's a comical wrestler. And that's not honestly who she is. Like, no offense to, I can't even think of her name, Kairi Sane. No offense to Kairi Sane, but like, that was stupid. That was the dumbest. The Kabuki Warrior, in my opinion, was dumb because they never even had any direction for it, which is how the WWE does about everything they do. They just throw shit on the wall and watch it slide down. And then when it falls to the floor, like, oh, it's done. Like, just get rid of it. So,
well, look at the debut. They literally have reports out. Like, they know it's a meme. They know it's a joke that they've been advertising, what's his name? VR Man for like months now. Mahan. Basically the other lackey of Jinder on Tinder that just basically looks like he's on steroids. And they're like, oh, we don't know. We're just kind of waiting for something to come to us. It's a terrible mentality.
Every time that airs, Bruce must look over at Vince and go, that's good shit, huh? Put his headset back on. Like, it's just, these two old men are just out of touch. I like Bruce a lot, don't get me wrong, but just, you can tell when people are out of touch, and especially lately, you can tell how shambled the writing team is, how inexperienced they are. And excuse me, Asuka just literally needs to come back. And whether I think she needs to slay Charlotte, I think it needs to be, and I mean like the queen gets like beheaded. Like, I'm talking like not even a question of who won the match. Like, it's a 5-minute match. Charlotte gets destroyed. And then like there's no doubt that Asuka is back and that she's the baddest bitch there, and that she is that ass kicker that she was from NXT.
Oh, very well said. Let's see what I'm ready for on the wheel now.
All right, here we go.
Still some great names on there too. We got Jeff Hardy. We got Dr. Britt Baker.
If we decide to do a 6 spin and I get Charlotte, I'm not speaking.
Please no. Keep going. Damn it.
I mean, to be fair, that one's not the worst one on the wheel. It's not the best one either. But.
All right, so it's Alexa Bliss. I just can't stand this essentially morphed gimmick from the Fiend. It doesn't make sense for Alexa at all. When they stopped pairing the Fiend with her, it should have been dropped, not just essentially given to her. So my problem is obviously not with Alexa, it's just with her creative character. She was fine who she was, even when she started helping the Fiend. It is what it is. When the Fiend left, she could have just reverted. They could have done a Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde thing, and that would have been fine. But they kept it too hokey, too like TV PG. Like this is too much like 1994 WWF, where it's just they think fans are stupid. They're like, look, he's gonna put a spell and curse the audience. Like, no, Papa Shango is not gonna curse me.
It's
Papa Shango's not gonna curse me. Right? And I get it. It's WB is a TV show about wrestling. It's not. It's a show featuring wrestling. Like, I get it. It's Vince's own little WandaVision bubble there.
We make movies, pal.
It's a shame because I think she's too talented. Lexi Kaufman, Alexa Bliss, is too talented wrestler to be stuck with the shitty gimmicks she has. I think she's to come back as an older version of who she was, maybe a hybrid version, just a little, maybe more an evil bitch type of character, or more of a I'm sick of being looked at as a joke character. Something come back, like you said, kind of with Asuka. She's come back and she's taken seriously. They have 19 fucking women on the main roster, and about 4 of them are you're going to take seriously, and that's the 4 horsemen essentially. 4 horsewomen, excuse me. It's a shame, like you said. They're releasing all these women. They're not. They're calling people up, not using them. They have Piper Nevins called Dewdrop. They don't know how to use their women's roster, so it's hard to predict what she's gonna do. Because I think honestly, she's riding on her contract. Because I think she sees the writing on the wall that there's just no. They're not caring with the women's wrestling anymore. They're going back pre to the pre women's era. They're going back more towards the diva time where only certain women with certain looks, Charlotte, get pushed. And that's not what we're going to see as a wrestling fan. As a wrestling fan, I want to see the most talented performers, and I want storylines that complement their gimmicks. I don't want gimmicks about storylines. It's stupid.
Yeah, and to be fair, no one really cares about Sasha that much either. So, like, I'm just saying her gimmick, and nobody really even knows if she's a face or a heel or what. She just has that stupid.
She's got the big show. She's got the big show of heel face turns.
Yeah. Like, I mean, nobody is invested in Sasha ever since Bianca beat her, and that's the reality of it. And it's because she's stuck in this. Am I a face? Am I a heel? I helped out Toni Storm, but then I came back before that and I attacked Bianca Belair, and then like it just they don't know what to do. So and like Bailey won't be back likely until after the Rumble, unfortunately.
And like I told you guys off air, the Danhausen picture I found, it was him cosplaying as Sasha Banks, and I thought it was comical to put in there because Sasha only got 3 votes, like I said earlier. So it's kind of comical that what you see the trends, like WWE can't see the writing on the wall, but and I know we're a small sample size, we only had 20 people, but people who kind of think like us, like you guys listen to our show, so you think like us. Obviously, if you listen to us, or we hope you do, you're kind of showing that this is what we want to see. We want to see AEW style wrestling. We want WWE to be great. We don't want this stupid character driven wrestling. We want wrestling to be good.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we do a bonus round?
Yeah, we may as well do one.
Let's do a bonus round.
Let's do a bonus round. Here we go. Still a lot of good names up on the board here.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We got too many good names left down there not to quickly go over. We got Jeff Hardy, Bianca, Matt Cardona, Roman Reigns,
oh, dude.
Charlotte Flair. Oh, acknowledge your tribal teeth, Timothy.
Oh, those 2 spots right there sucked between Roman and Charlotte. It's like, just sorry, Tim.
Roman Reigns. Well, his last year, he was the champion for all of 2021, basically. Him and Paul Heyman, that storyline went forever. Now it's finally, there's some dissension. Full disclosure, I have not watched this last SmackDown. I know last SmackDown I watched is when he fired Paul Heyman. So I know they're teasing the whole thing with him and Brock, which way Paul Heyman, side. So I think eventually he's going to split from Heyman. Or I think he's going to be away from Paul Heyman in 2022, I should say. I don't know. I think his title reign is going to end sometime next year. I don't know to who, though. I don't know who ends it. Knowing WWE, it'll probably be Goldberg or the Doink or somebody that
you got 2 Doink references.
Yeah, somebody that doesn't deserve it. I don't know who ends it, but I think it will come to an end at some point. I don't know. Maybe they bring back Strowman at some point. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. And Strowman ends it. I could again another off the wall kind of prediction that I have, but
what are your thoughts on Dwayne?
I think that's probably run its course. They've done that. They've teased that for many years now. I think it would happen by now. The fact that it didn't happen at Survivor Series where they dedicated the whole show to The Rock and The Rock didn't even show up. I mean, I think at some point you got to let that go. So I don't think that's going to happen.
The only other hot take I have on this is you either, in my opinion, you have 2 people that deserve a chance to potentially dethrone Roman. One of them being a face Seth Rollins. Now, I'm not saying you turn Seth Rollins face. I'm just saying if for some reason this weird, creepy Riddler kind of heel gimmick he has going right now, which I mean isn't it's all right, but it's just I'm not the biggest fan of it. But that would be a reason to turn him face to dethrone, Roman with their history and whatnot. The other one is after WrestleMania, SummerSlam rolls around and maybe Edge, because it needs to be a big name. It has to be. And, your Edge comes back from everything he has to go through. He still really hasn't, he's kind of had a little bit of flirts with Roman and we know their history there, but it's almost like Edge could come back at SummerSlam and be like, hey, remember me? I think the fans would be okay with that. I think that would be like the last you could get out of it. The other thought, in my opinion, is the only other person on the roster, in my opinion, is Randy Orton. And he's busy right now with Riddle, and I hope that continues for a while because that's actually making Raw somewhat watchable. And I say somewhat because Raw is a 3-hour snooze fest. But, I mean, that's my only other thing that I'll add is that those are the names in my head that come to mind. Other than that, I'm with Tim. I don't know who it could honestly be. And even those 3 names aren't like the tippy top names. They're like the next level down.
No, it's hard because, like you said, the gimmick just run its course. It's Roman, another version of Roman shoved down our throats. The big dog didn't work, so they turned him to the tribal chief. It's all they did was just slap a new fresh coat of paint on a stale gimmick.
It's a fresh painted coat.
To quote Bruce Pritchard, it's a fresh painted coat.
That hurt my brain for a second. I haven't heard him say that, so it's like I didn't say it wrong, did I? Like, don't miss my.
You were good.
All right, but yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say is they just need to change up the gimmick, and I agree with you guys. I have no idea. They could have Brock dethrone him. I still like Rollins' take for one of the Saudi shows that they covered. I think it was like the 12th or 13th episode we did, where he's like, "Oh, they just gave Goldberg the belt, so we can go have the blue and red belt." Like that's I always think of you saying that when they do this. I'm like, oh, they just trying to give Roman, so he had multicolored belts. They're gonna give him the World Heavyweight Championship now. He have the black belt. Like it's comical at this point. So, but we'll give you a bonus spin roll too, so we don't want to take too much time away. Really hope Roland gets CM Punk.
I can get Charlotte Flair. It's going to be a short one.
Oh,
stop on Jeff. Give me Jeff. No offense, Bianca. Give me Jeff.
Oh, you got that charismatic. Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
We've kind of discussed this, and I think there's almost no way around it that eventually he will make his way to AEW. Now, I honestly think he's going to lay low for a while, like to the point where people almost forget about him. I feel like it's going to be like a summer, like all out, like debut. I feel like he's in like 6-7 months. He'll be away. He'll be doing his music thing. And I don't know if this is how they get, I see it happening that the Hardy family office bullshit. I see that happening, that all these guys start losing even more and he ends up going crazy. He just fires them, goes crazy, turns on them. And then they start beating him finally at like this crescendo of a send off. It's almost like the NWO when Shawn Michaels did it and he would super kick one of them, except it's going to be them kicking the shit out of Matt. Like they're just going to be like, you know what, we're sick of you, like slapping us, hitting us, degrading us, and they all just gang up on him and the lights go out. And I'm hoping it's either Brother Nero or Willow. I'm hoping one of those two characters shows up. I don't care which one. I do not want to see the Hardy Boys. No offense. I love them. That is a WWE thing. Even when they did it in TNA at the beginning, it's a WWE thing. Sorry, that's what it is. So
they'll probably do something with the Bucks. Like if they ever have a match, they'll do like just kidding. Like they'll
well, that's fine. But like I don't want him coming out to like his old TNA, peroxide music and then be like, it's like, no, I don't want that Jeff Hardy. I want Brother Nero or I want Willow. I want the more demented side of Jeff Hardy to go with, like I said, whether it's a cross between Willow and Brother Nero or like just Brother Nero himself. Like Jeff needs to have this one last run and be as creative as he wants and not have Vince McMahon there to tell him no.
Yep,
And
I agree.
that's just like the Chris Jericho take, that Jeff Hardy has earned that right. He's earned that right over the years. He's put his body through so much shit for all the fans. He's earned that right to come in and say and do what he wants, obviously within the scope of legality, but like he shouldn't be told you're going to go out there and you're going to go and swanton people and you throw your tatted up shirts that are all ripped and shit and throw them in the state. Like, he doesn't need to be that guy.
No, I agree. I don't want to take too much away from your point or add too much onto it, but I just kind of want to point out, I agree with you. I think he should come back as Brother Nero or Willow and not be Team Extreme, because that's a WWE product. I think I like your idea because it's a trope in wrestling. I like it when Christian Cage left TNA to go back to WWE. He got beat down by Aces and 8 basically. So there's precedence for wrestlers kind of getting beat down on the way out, and then something comes in to either help surprise them. So that could be a good run, because the Hardy Boys, the Young Bucks in Ring of Honor was probably one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen. I'm not saying they need to go out there and have a ladder match, but I agree with you. They need to be, the Broken Family. They need to do that. Like Tim said earlier, Wyndham's going to come into the Broken Family with this. So there's a lot of possibilities, but Rowan, I like yours of laying low, kind of letting everything burn, and then him coming back.
Well, and just think of the tag teams you could feud with right off the bat from the Hardy family office. Butcher and Blade,
Right,
Private Party, yeah, the Hybrid 2. I know, like, they do I know that they are definitely not a big name, but they do some pretty impressive stuff in the ring. So, like, they could have some decent matches for a couple of months burning that off, and then, yeah, they can go off to do their own thing somewhere else.
No, I agree. There's still lots of great names on here, too.
It's time for the final spin.
Dude, if you get Charlotte, I'm done.
Tim's Troy still on the board.
It's true. Oh, it's coming around.
Yeah, it's not gonna make it. But luckily, the next 3 names are all good ones.
It's clobbering time.
All right. The Cult of Personality himself. Yeah, so I know I made other predictions earlier. Again, he's had an amazing year too. I mean, we never thought we'd see CM Punk in a wrestling ring ever again. Back in 2018, he basically said that I have no reason to. I don't need the money. It seemed like he didn't have the passion for it anymore from what WWE did. And then AEW starts, the rumors start. It's like everything else. You're like, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, what happened? The summer of Punk 3 happened. He came in, he had an amazing match with Darby. He had a short-lived feud, but it was a great match with Kingston. And he's setting up a mega feud with MJF. So he's had a great 2021. He's doing what he should be doing, building himself, earning the respect back with the wrestling world. I think for 2022, there's so many directions they can go with it. Like Roland said, slow burn with MJF to build up to maybe a double or nothing match. And then afterwards, the sky's the limit. Who I'd like to really see him feud with is probably Adam Cole, or maybe Kenny Omega, which I know is obvious, or even Bryan Danielson. Yeah, I know they had WWE matches. I know they had Ring of Honor matches, but even if it's just a one-off for us, a 2-month feud, I think that's where it can go too. So I'm going to steal Tim's line too. Also, if I don't really have a prediction, because I think there's so many directions to go and it's endless. And either way, as a wrestling fan, I'm happy because this is CM Punk's last run most likely, and it's great to see him go on his terms.
I want to give all the credit in the world to Phil Brooks, the person. He left a lot of fans with a sour taste in their mouths when he left, and a lot of people shit on him for it, and they didn't understand why. And it's been 7 long years. Well, right, but through all,
I came around, obviously.
Right. Through all of that, he has come back. He has been there literally every night. Like, he's not Chris Jericho. Like, no offense to Chris Jericho right now, he's there every night. So, like, he's not on this part-time. He's not Edge. He's not on this part-time deal where you see him for a couple of months and then he's gone. Like, he literally, since he debuted, he has not been there. At least one of those shows every week. So kudos to him for getting his love of wrestling back. Kudos to the fans for accepting him back. And I think it couldn't have been done any better. And if he had done it in WWE when he debuted for Fox, it would have been a disaster. It would have been hot garbage, and people would have been even more pissed off at him for the way he left, plus the way he returned, and it was a shit show, even though it wasn't really his fault.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him in WWE. I feel like it would just be. It wouldn't feel real. It wouldn't feel right. It would just feel like here's $1 million. Go out there and just be a shell of yourself.
Go out there and bump for Sheamus, kid. But no, and that's the other thing too. Like I could see AEW pairing Danielson and Punk 2 down the road. Like that would be amazing. Like imagine like they get to the point where like say MJF wins that match, and say at this point Danielson still hasn't won the AEW title. They both kind of do the DX thing where Shawn and Triple H get back together because they're sick of the shit they're going through. They're sick of getting like because MJF's going to cheat to win all the time. So like I could see like that becoming a thing, kind of like how they did it in WWE, but I could see that having an actual run, kind of like Kenny and Hangman did. So I mean, the sky's the limit.
So do we want to go through the rest of the names on the board? We'll spin and just do a 1-sentence prediction for next year.
Well, I just did Daniel Bryan, so you guys should probably do Daniel Bryan too, and we can just get that out of the way.
Yeah, just 1 sentence. I think he'll be I think he's going to go through at least 50 packs of Hanes white t-shirts.
There'll be recycled Hanes t-shirts.
Yes, they will. Mongo?
I think eventually he captures the AEW title, not from Hangman, but he gets it somehow.
Okay.
So let's remove him, Mongo, and give it a spin and see what we get here. Can you change the amount of time it takes to spin? Is there like a change it to a little bit shorter spin, and let's at least give our thoughts on some people here. Slow it, give it a little bit, faster spin.
All right, we're going to hyperdrive now, boys.
It's fine. At least it's getting spun.
Darby? All right. Is it who starts? Me?
Go for it.
I'm gonna go 2022 feud with Sting.
I'm also with you that if there is a Sting retirement match and it's not Jericho, it has to be Darby. Similar to it has to be Sammy if it's Jericho.
Absolutely.
Darby captures the TNT title.
Does he beat Cody?
Yes. They have a rematch. Good.
I used to like Cody. I'm just sick of.
It's the EST of the HL.
All right, I'll go first on this one. She's lost every bit of steam she had thanks to Becky smashing her in 28 seconds at SummerSlam? Survivor Series? I don't fucking remember. It was a garbage, whatever it was. We've talked about it then, and I don't want to go much into it, that I feel like they've ruined a fantastic superstar, and now they have her jobbing matches with Doudrop and people that she doesn't need to be having matches with. She is clearly not on that upper level anymore, and it's all the way they booked her from the match with Becky.
That was a lot of commas.
Yeah, that's a long sentence.
I didn't stop. It was a run-on sentence, baby.
I think she reestablishes herself this year, but hopefully less jobbing.
I think along those lines, I think she reestablished herself, but I could see her with the women's tag team titles. I don't know who her partner would be, but I could see her in the tag team title picture.
Maybe it could be Sasha. Mongo, this one's yours, buddy. Start off.
To Britt Baker, DMD. I think she drops the title of Thunder Rosa.
Ooh. I'm going to go a long title reign, but I think she'll drop it towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that it has to loop back around to Thunder Rosa. I feel like Thunder Rosa has a better chance of capturing the TBS title before she captures the AEW title. So, it's going to have to be a slow burn. But in my opinion, right now, there's nobody on the roster that I would want to see dethrone Britt Baker than Thunder Rosa, just based on the fact that they have that history of that lights out match that didn't count. But yeah, long sentence again, but I just wanted to get it all on the table.
All right, Tim. Yes!
Matt Cardona.
Woo, woo, woo.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna predict by the end of 2022, he will sign with a major company.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that he does a tour of the indies for the better part of the summer. And then in the fall, he does sign, whether it's AEW or Impact. I don't think it's WWE. I think he's smart enough to not go back there. I think he's seen what other people that have gone back have gone through, and there aren't that many that have succeeded. I mean, you got Drew McIntyre, Jinder kind of, but there really aren't many that go back and succeed.
I think he wins the Impact World title.
Wow.
Mongo's sentences are way shorter than yours and mine. Mine are really long. And Mongo's are like, I think he dies. It's like 3 words. Yeah. The guy, Ollie Williams from Family Guy. It's gonna rain. This one's you, Mongo.
Malachi Black.
I think Malachi Black continues his House of Black gimmick and really helps establish that middle card as up and coming. And I think he feuds more with Cody for the TNT title.
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I think he's a future TNT champion next year or this year.
I think you see the House of Black kind of grow and then maybe either turn into the Dark Order, like take some members, or like kind of merge, or Bray comes in. And like, I just feel like if you have the House of Black, I know the Dark Order is still there and they're more comedy now, but somebody needs to remind them of where they started and what they were when Brody Lee was there. I mean, I know they were comedy too, but they also weren't full comedy.
And also, can Father James Mitchell please make a return and manage Malachi Black, please? All right, moving on.
He was on the WCW show last week, Tim.
Yeah.
Destination unknown. Ruby Soho.
Hey, Tim, if we get your choice next time, who are you going to pick?
Do I have to pick it? All right.
Anyway.
Who's going first? Is it me? Ruby
Yes.
Soho?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. If we get Tim's choice next time, you can choose whoever you want.
I'll choose whoever you want. So for Ruby Soho, I think she'll be in the main event women's world title picture, but I don't think she's going to capture the title.
Yeah, I could see her being one of the first, if not the inaugural, TBS champions. I know that the tournament's still, I'm not sure if she's still in it or not. I don't follow it that closely, so sue me if she's not. But I could see her being, if she's already out, and then eventually losing to Britt Baker again.
No, she just did win, so she's in the finals next week against Jade Cargill. So I think she picks up. So I think she picks up the win over Cargill, and she is the inaugural TBS champion. It's because Mercedes Martinez came in and screwed Thunder Rosa. That's why I think.
Yeah, but like, if they go with Cargill, I quit. Like, no offense, like, and I know this isn't about. I know we don't have a lot of time, but like, Cargill is the female AEW version of Roman Reigns. No one cares. You can put anybody with her you want. Shaq, Smart Mark Sterling. You could put God himself, like Vince McMahon wrestled once with Shawn Michaels in a tag match, and no one would care.
Guys, if you thought that was in your role, and watch this. Oh, it's not Charlotte. He's
Dude, I dare you to leave Charlotte up there.
Choose our final.
So I can pick any wrestler I want, huh?
Yeah, I dare you to leave Charlotte up there.
All
just
right.
on the wheel, like no one gives a shit. Gone. Bye, Charlotte.
Gone.
Deleted.
This is a tough one. I can pick any wrestler.
Is there anybody you voted for that didn't make the wheel, Tim? Anybody that?
Well, my boy didn't make it.
Well, go ahead, go there then.
Let's do it. Let's do Kevin Owens.
Your choice, buddy.
Yeah. So for Kevin Owens, he just signed this big deal with WWE, which I'm a little disappointed about. I mean, I'm happy for him that he's making a lot of money. It's actually a little surprised at the money he's making because he's not a main event guy right now. I think he's obviously doing this thing with Seth right now as the team. I don't think that will last too long. I think he'll go his own way. But does he get into the world title picture next year or this year? I don't think so. I think he's more U.S. Intercontinental title. I think he'll win one of those. I don't think he's going to be used correctly. So that's my prediction.
My turn?
Yeah.
2022 Royal Rumble winner, Kevin Owens.
I had a different prediction until he resigned, but
well, give us that one too. What the hell? Tell us what you think would happen.
If he hadn't resigned, I thought him and Sami Zayn were going into AEW, and I thought they were going to be the tag team champions and shock the world. Like I thought there was going to be an open tournament where they were going to go win the tag titles out of nowhere.
You imagine? I mean, we talked offline about like not having the tag teams on here, and especially the ones in AEW. It's almost a crime, but like we just didn't have enough room. But like FTR, the Lucha Bros, like you imagine the Young Bucks. You imagine throwing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn into that mix. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think for WB, I think he captures the title tonight at day one. So that's my 21. I think it was part of his contract. Like, okay, if you trust me enough to give me this money, give me the strap.
Well, this was fun, guys. We honestly we didn't really have any idea how this was going to go.
No, I liked it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and we want to thank you for voting. You guys were really a really integral part. Integral part of the show. So thank you for voting. We had a lot of fun. We'll see how right or wrong we are with our predictions for this coming year, 2022. So thanks for joining us, guys, today.
It was fun. I like I said, it was something very different. We've never done anything like this before. We covered literally 26 superstars minus Charlotte, and I just think that it was cool to see who you guys thought we should talk about, and I didn't mind. Like I said, the only person I didn't really know that much about was Danhausen, and I had a take on everybody else. So
absolutely, no, there were some good write-ins too. Unfortunately, some of the write-ins weren't active as much, like Jerry Lawler. Sorry, Tim. So we appreciate. It was.
He's still going to be wrestling next year.
I was going to say he's still wrestling.
He's still going to wrestle. He's going to win some.
That's true.
He's going to win some.
Didn't he just do a tag match with somebody like last week? I'm pretty sure he did.
He wrestled Scott Steiner not that long ago.
Yeah, that was supposedly like his anniversary show. I'm pretty sure like there was an article going around that like he literally wrestled a tag team with somebody. I can't remember who it was.
And you wonder why he's divorced. Like, that's a terrible anniversary.
That's another thing. But
no, but I want to thank everyone because it's cool to see the fan participation, grow, and the episodes grow. We didn't obviously hit the 2,800 or 3,000, but we came very close. So thank you very much. Appreciate you listening this year. Can't wait to start 2022. We have a lot of fun ideas, not just regular episodes, but other content as well. This has been really fun, and I wish you all a happy new year. And thank you for tuning in. And tell everybody, please go out there and search WWPAP wherever you listen or watch on YouTube, so you can check us out and give us feedback. If something sucks, tell us it sucks. If you like us, tell us you like us. We got Tim to talk more this episode, so maybe you'll like us more.
Well, that's good. That's the other thing. When Tim drives the ship, a lot of times he doesn't get to really have his take. So this was kind of cool to get an expanded take of what Tim thought.
I'm like a moderator at a WWE contract signing.
We don't end up fighting much.
No, we don't. No tables get thrown.
You don't see when the camera goes off.
Just Mongo drops his bottle of Advil or whatever it was, and it makes this big boom.
Boom!
Right? Yeah, that's fitting. What are we doing next week, Tim?
I'm sorry?
What are we doing next week, Tim?
We're going back to ECW. We're doing Guilty as Charged 2001. I believe it is the very last pay-per-view ECW ever did before they went out of business. So looking forward to that. The ECW shows really have not disappointed us this far. So really looking forward to going back and watching that show for you guys next week.
Yeah, and it's so tough to try to find good content week to week. There are some weeks there's just no shows. Thus, the reason we did this. We could have given our predictions for day one, but again, no one really cares about day one. Honestly, just no one does. That's the way it was. We thought about that. We also thought about the year of Roman Reigns, which could have been a decent topic, but I just don't think enough people care about it.
No, I agree. I think it's fun. I can't wait to cover ECW. I've been listening to Extreme Conversations with Brian Byers. It's pretty cool. It's like 6 or 7 episodes where he just sits down and he interviews all the old ECW alumni, and they talk. And episode 2 is my favorite. It's all about Balls Mahoney and how funny ridiculous his stories are, like how he said he killed a shark and shit like that. So like if you want a cool insight while you get ready to listen to us, watch preview, but also listen to those Extreme Conversations. It's really cool to hear, Little Guido's take and Tommy Dreamer's take and C.W. Anderson and Chris Candido's brother. Like it's cool to hear all these different stories. So it makes me appreciate ECW more. So I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, so Guilty as Charged, that is next week for you guys. Again, thank you for joining. Thank you for making Wrasslin Roulette a special episode. Everybody have a great new year. We will see you next week. Until then, I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Fulis.
And I'm Mongo.
And this is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, Charlotte.